Hello, my name is Ed Austin. I'm a member of the Realm support team at Millbrook United Methodist Church. And today I'm going to take you through some slides that show how a group leader can take advantage of Realm and Realm Connect. So I'm going to share some screens. Hang on a second here. And let me get that up and let me get it started with the slideshow. Okay. So again, like I said, this is Realm or Realm Connect Group Leader Education. Hopefully you've had a chance to go to and take the class to kind of a general introduction class, either through the slides or maybe even attended a session where it's been presented. But in any case, what we're going to talk about today is mainly as a person who is a group leader and how they can take advantage of Realm for themselves and for their group or their team, if you will. As part of the setup of Realm, the support team has already worked to set up your group in Realm. Now, what we may have done, and probably did, is we hid your group until you're ready to take over. So it's out there. Don't worry about it if you don't see it. We'll make sure you get to see it soon. Okay. So when you're a group leader, just like what you're a congregant or just a regular member of a group, you sign in using the URL or the link, if you will, down at the bottom left on the screen. Your email address and your password that you set up are still the same. And you get taken to what we call the home page when we were doing the earlier education. It's just the first set of things that you can do on Realm. And you'll see communications, news, inbox, chat, history, events, giving, all those things down on the left side. And we'll talk about most of those, not all of those, but most of those today. Okay, so for group leaders, we want to make sure you know how you can use the different capabilities as a group leader. And we also want to show you how you have some control over the things that your group members can do. So you'll see that as well. Okay. So probably the first thing as a group leader you want to do is take a look at your group. So the way you do that is first you click groups over here. You'll get a list of all the groups that you are associated with. And you would, if you want, are the group leader of, let's say in this case, Pathfinders, you would click Pathfinders. And what you see over here on the right is the information about the Pathfinders group. And that's what you would see as the, and really other people would be able to see most of this information as well. But here's what you would see as the leader. And you'll notice there's 3 dots up here beside your name. If you click those beside your group name, you'll see a couple of options that most folks on the group, only group leaders will actually see the group settings. And that's where you can go in and make some changes. And we're going to show that in just a second. The notification settings, which is really up here at the top, is how you decide when you are going to get notified about attendance issues. And we'll talk about that toward the end of the presentation. Okay, so click group settings and you're taken into all the information about the group. There's lots of data when a group is created that we capture. For example, at the top is the name of the group. Now, some of our groups have been around a long time. So as a group leader, you may want to consider whether you want to change the name or not, but that's you certainly can. But maybe more important is you have the ability to add other group leaders. If it's a big group or if you have somebody who has some special skills and you want them to be able to do the group leader things, you can go in and add them. You can see here there's 2 group leaders in this particular group. I'm going to take you to the next page, but actually I'm just scrolling down this existing page. And you can see there's some things at the bottom of that page, the settings, the visibility, availability. I would think normally you want to leave those as public, visibility, and always available on the groups page. But take a look at those and see if you think that's what's right for your group. Okay. When you get further down on that page, you'll see kind of 2 major things that I think might be of interest to you, and that's the participants. You, on the participants list, you can decide what information is going to be able to be seen about, that you'll be able to see, and others too, about the participants. when they joined, their last login. Actually, I'm not 100% sure that other folks can see that. That's not a good thing to admit when you're doing education, but you decide what you want to be able to see about the people who are in your group. This last item is very important, and that's really maybe the most important thing, and that's the communication. What is it that you want people in your group to be able to do? And there's 4 things here. So do you want them to be able to create posts? So if you do, you have anyone in the group. Do you want them to be able to create events? Well, we're suggesting that group leaders be the only people who create events. So think about that when you start using this. Who can post photos? Photo posts are very similar to regular posts, just got an image with them. So who can do that? Anyone in the group, or is it just the leader? And the last thing is group chats. There's a chat feature that we'll talk about, and do you want it to be turned on for your group? Then down at the bottom, there's some demographics kinds of things. So does your group have male, female on, and you decide for that, and whether there's an age range or anything like that associated with it. Then you click save. So that's the way you go in and change the information or keep up with information about your group. Well, you're gonna, as a group leader, the most important thing maybe is you want to keep up with who's in my group, and then how do I add new members to the group, or they're called participants by realm. But then how do I communicate with my group? How do I do posts and photos and messages, and how do I create events? And there's a third thing like marking, it's called marking attendance. We'll talk about, and whether that's something that you want to do for your group. We hope you will. You think about that. All right, so you want to look and see who are the members in your group. So you click groups, and then you click the group of interest. So the second thing you would do, like in this case, we want to look at the RAM support team. And then what will happen is this screen on the right will show, and there's different tabs across the top. And if you want to see the participants or the group members, you would click the participants tab. And what you'll see is a list of the current participants. So in the RAM support team, we've got 10 folks listed right there. Now, there's 2 things you can do on this particular page. You can manage participants, or you can send communications. We're going to talk about the communications later, but that's where you could send a message. You can post to a news feed, which is creating a post, or you can create a photo post, or you can create an event, or you could even start a chat. And that's what you would do if you click the send communications button. What we want to look at first, though, is how do you manage the participants, or AKA also known as the manage roster. So if you click that, then what you're going to see is a list of the current participants in your group. Now, you'll notice that there is a way to look at past participants, and we would encourage you as people, depending upon your group, if it's a committee, for example, in the church, every year we have people go off the committee, and what you can do is you have a way to remove them from the group, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But you can remove them from the group so that the history will be able to see, hey, you know what, that person has already been part of that committee a couple of years ago. Okay, so you have your current participants. You'll see it. I've redacted some of the personal information, but depending upon what each person has set up in their notification settings, you'll be able to see things, the name, phone number, addresses, and things like that. Okay. So on that page, we're really looking at the same page, but you've got several capabilities. You can, for each person, over to the right, there'll be these dots, these 3 dots. And if you click those 3 dots, you'll see an edit or remove from group will pop up. And you can go in and edit. Now, you can't go in and change a person's information about themselves, but in your group, let's say your group is a music group, and you want to keep up with what instruments that people can play. We might have the group set up so that you can record the instruments It's called an attribute. So you might be able to say this person plays this instrument. Same thing, if it's voice, what is a tenor or alto, that sort of thing. Now, some groups may not have any of that at all. Another thing you can do is you can say, hey, I want to remove this person from the group. That makes sense, if somebody has moved to another town, they're going to a new good Methodist church, or they dropped off the committee, you can click and remove them from the group. And maybe it would be a good idea, we think, to keep the history. So you'll have a choice when you say remove from group whether you want to keep the history. And we would suggest normally you wouldn't want to keep the history. Now, if it's a new person, that is, you want to add a new person to your group, you click add person and you'll be able to do a search and add them to your group. But down here at the bottom, we talk about the fact, let's suppose this person who's coming to your group is actually new to Millbrook and they are actually not in the directory yet. We haven't added them to the directory. So what you'll want to do in that case, and you'll work with that person and talk to them and say, look, we'd like to have you in our directory so we can communicate with you. And if they're okay with that, then you have them get in touch with the church office and that person can be added to the directory and they can be invited to use Realm and be part of your group. Okay. So now here's kind of the fun part. How do you communicate with your group? And I'm just going to show you, there's actually several ways to do these functions, but I'm going to do them where you actually choose the group first. So you're going to click groups button, if you will, and then you'll click the group of interest. In this case, it's Pathfinders. This page will show with the information about the Pathfinders, and then you can click Send Communications button. And this Send Communications button it will show up in other places. Like if you look at the participants, you'll also see the Send Communications. So you click Send Communications, and what'll pop up is this pop-up that gives you all the choices of ways to communicate with your group. And we're just going to go through these real quick. But the first one is the let's send a message, and you would click compose your message here. Now it says send an email message, and every user can decide. You can see, you can read this perhaps. Realm uses each person's communication preferences to deliver your message the way they prefer. So each person can decide, do I really want to get an email, or do I just want to get, whenever I just want to sign on to Realm and check and see if I've got anything new. So they'll get to decide, but you get to compose your message. You click compose your message and a pop-up will occur of a new message. You'll see that, for example, Pathfinders has already been filled in. You can click, I think it's show details, and it'll actually tell you how are the people set up. And in this case, everybody's set up to receive an email on a message, but they could have been set up to only see it through the inbox, this part of Realm. But now you would go in and input a subject. Be sure to, do a good job of giving what the subject is, because people get a lot of email, they get a lot of information. So make sure that they would realize, oh, this is from Millbrook United Methodist Church, and I want to take a look at it. You put in your content, and you'll notice it's pretty easy to put in a link to a sign up, for example. You can attach files to a message, and those files get added to the history, if you will, of this group. So as time goes by, you could go back and look and see when those files have been, or what those files are. And you, as the sender of this message, get to decide, are people going to be able to reply to me, the sender only, or can they reply so that everybody can see it? Or you can actually disable and say, you know what, there's no reason for anybody to reply to this. This is just information only, and you go that way. Now, remember I said this may not actually go out as an email. It depends upon how the person set up their notification. Okay. Once the message has been sent, you'll see it in your inbox. So here was the inbox of the person who sent this particular message a minute ago. When a group member signs on to Realm, they're going to see a little blue dot beside inbox telling them that they've got something new. and they may have gotten an email. Again, that's up to them to decide whether they wanted to do that or not. Okay, so this is what an inbox of a group member looks like, and there's this dot, a blue dot was there, and this shows up as a new piece of information in their inbox. They may have received an email. Okay. Well, let's go back now. We're going to send another type of, do another type of communication. So I would click group. I would click Pathfinders. The Pathfinders information would come up. I would click send communication. And in this case, I want to create a post. Well, what is a post? And down here is a definition. It's a message written by a group member that all other group members can read on their newsfeed. Okay, let's take a look then. So a post pop-up will occur, very similar to what we saw before, in that Pathfinders is filled in. You enter a title. Again, you want to do a good job with that. You enter some good content. I think all of us have been gotten too much information before, so you want to be smart about what it is you send and how many of these you send. You can certainly add a file to this post. You decide if comments are allowed. And so in this case, we're saying yeah, and you decide whether notifications are sent. And then finally, you click post. And when you do, that post shows up in your news feed and the news feed of group participants. Okay. They may have gotten an email, again, depending upon their notification setting. Now, I just want to bring up something for you as a group leader, and really others as well. There's different ways to do different things. We went a different route to get to the point where we could have started a post. Actually, from the news, when you're looking at news, you'll see these icons up here, and you could click this icon, the pencil icon, and you could actually start a post from this page. Now, if you do it from this page, the first thing you have to do is select the group you want to send it to. Okay. All right, we're back to the group. So we've done groups, we've clicked Pathfinders, we've got the Pathfinders information, we click send communications, and now I want to create a photo post. And a photo post is very, very similar to a post. It's just going to have an image in it. And the same rules apply for who can see it. So here's an example. Now, the very first thing you'll do is choose the image that's going to be loaded to the post. Depending upon the platform that you use, I grabbed all this on a Windows computer. It'll look different on Apple. It'll look different on your iPhone or on your Android. But I haven't tested, I'll be honest with you, on every one of those. But you'll have a chance to select the image that you want to include in the post. And the only thing that will show up will be images that Realm will actually accept. So I chose an image, I clicked open, and then I'm going to add a description. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you what it looks like after I've added the image. And I went in and put in a description. So now again, like in most of these, I decide whether people can comment. I decide whether people, as a group leader, I decide whether folks will be sent notifications, and then I post it. Maybe some of y'all will recognize that musician. Okay, and now the photo post has been added to the news feed. You can see the dot beside news. One of the things that you can do, and you do it by clicking, I think maybe the image or the description, I forget, maybe both. You can go in and you can edit this post. So if you need to make any changes, you can do that. You can go in and delete it as well. Let's say a post that's only, makes sense to show for a week or so. You go back in later on and you delete it. Okay, we're going through all the different ways to communicate, and one way to communicate is with what's called a chat. So we're back to the send communication button. We click groups, we click Pathfinders, we see the Pathfinders, we click send communication, and now we can start a chat. Now, there's ways to, so when this chat is for the group, you can do chats with one or more persons. Up here, you have communications, and if you open that up, there's a chat capability there. When you choose that chat, the first thing you have to do is choose the person or persons that you want. Whereas if you're communicating or you want to chat with a group, you would be probably best to go through the group first and then choose chat. So what happens? I get a pop-up with Pathfinder's already filled in. Now you can, it's kind of a neat thing. If let's say you got a chat that you want to send to everybody in the group but 3 people, for whatever reason, those 3 people already know about it or whatever. And maybe it's an announcement of their birthdays coming up or whatever. So you can go in and click this message specific people, and everybody that's in Pathfinders will show up, and you can remove the folks that you don't want to have know about the chat. You then type in your chat. You can actually put in attachments there as well, and you click send. Now, first thing I want to make sure, hopefully everybody understands, chats are not text. They're different. Text messaging is, while the Realm software does support text messaging, we've chosen not to implement text messaging at this point in time. So a chat is something that can be done only within the confines of the Realm software and Realm Connect on your phones. So you click. So one way to do communication, excuse me, after you've done a chat, you can come to the communications, open that up, click chat, and then what will happen is this list of all the chat groups and people that you have worked with will be shown, and you can click on these and you'll be able to see what the history is that you've done. So here I click Pathfinders and I can see all the older chats, and then down the bottom is the most recent chat. Okay, and one of the things that I can do, and although it's not shown here, oh, shouldn't have gone forward yet. I could actually at this point, or anyone else who's looking at this can now add to the chat. It's down at the bottom, you don't see it, but it's just a window that says, hey, I can respond to the chat. Now, remember, that's if the person said it's okay to have comments. Okay, hanging in there. Now we're going to talk about events. Again, back to the group. We want to click groups, we click Pathfinders, send communications, and one of our options is to create an event. So we click that, and what pops up over on the right-hand side of the screen is the event information. Now, I want to make very clear, this is not a way, if you need to reserve a room or some outside space or anything at the church, you want to follow the same process that we've always followed. And that's, you need to contact the facility manager, Carl Baker, and make sure that it's okay, or that you can reserve that room, outdoor space, whatever it is. So this software doesn't reserve rooms for you. Want to make sure we all agree on that. Okay, but what you do once you've got it's okay if you're going to use the church room, or if you're going to maybe do an event at somebody's home, you come here, you enter the information, you put in a good description of the event, the name of the event. Remember that staff sees a lot of these, so try to give it something that's easy for them to see. You go in, put a good description. You put in a start and end time, and then you put in a repeats. And for some groups, particularly like Sunday school classes, you'd want to go in and create a weekly event, and there's going to be a way to make this your primary event so people can be able to see that, hey, this group meets every week at a certain time. Not done, because there's more information. So you can see over here on the far right, you scroll down, you got more information. So we talked about the facility. If you've got the facility reserved, you can go in and enter that location. But you can actually, let's suppose you're going to have a Christmas party at somebody's house. You could put in their address, and it will show. This actually interfaces with Google Map. So you can do that. You can also enter online information. We believe this is very secure. So only people who can see this are people in the group. and people have, they have to be able to sign in, have to our system. So you could put in the URL for the Zoom meeting, for example, and you can put in the password if you wanted to. That would be part of that. One of the features of an event in Realm is let's suppose you are having a Christmas party and you want folks to bring certain items. So you could actually add those items and how many of them you want people to bring. And as part of doing an RSVP, that is responding, saying, I'm going to attend, people would be able to say how many of the items that they're going to bring to the event. Now, I think you want to think about this. I think there's a lot of events where you don't want RSVPs. I mean, me personally, for a Sunday school class, you might not want to have an RSVPs. I mean, you want it for people to be able to know that it's occurring, but I don't know that you necessarily want people to have to tell you that they're coming. One of the things that there is the capability is to say, if you have childcare, you can turn that on or off. And just like on all the others, you can allow comments, or you can allow, or you can say notifications should be sent for this particular event. Then you click post, and it gets added to the events on Realm. Now, going back to the communications, or going back to the menu, excuse me, one of your items here is events. If you click on events, then all the items, or excuse me, all the events that you as a member of particular groups will show up. Now, some events are going to be church-wide, you'll see those, but other events will be for just groups that you're in. You won't see events for other groups, just the ones that you're part of. As the group leader, you'll find a group that you're, the one that you have set up, and you can actually now go in and edit it. And again, you might not be able to see it, but you click the group, you click it, there'll be the 3 dots will show up, and you can, again, you can choose to edit, you can put attachments, you can actually delete it or cancel it. You can edit if there need any changes to be made. The cancel events kind of neat in that we know things happen and you might have to cancel it. If you click cancel, then everyone will be notified based on their notification settings that the events and stuff canceled. Okay, so if you wanted to edit, you'll be able to go in and you'll see the complete information for the event. You can go in, make changes, and do a save and close, which is not shown here on the screen. Okay, so I think I mentioned this. There's other ways to navigate and do stuff. So as the group leader, really anyone can go and open up the communications, if you will, and they'll see news and inbox and chat. And if they click news, for example, they'll see this screen over on the right. And at the top are going to be these 3 icons. Start a post is this first one. You can start a photo post, or you can start an event. And once you click one of those, after you make a selection, you'll have to choose the group or people that to be notified. Now, so for example, if you want to create an event, if you're not a group leader, you may not be able to do that because that's only usually done by a group leader. But this is another way to navigate and do some of those things that we talked about. Okay, so, and here as an example, after clicking news, that you'll see that all of the news or my inbox showed up. And if I wanted to, I could actually create a message or compose a message. I'd click this, the plus sign, and it would pop up the message, and I could start filling it out. Chat works the same way. If I click chat here, there would be a plus sign. I click that, I could start doing chats. But again, I'd have to choose who's going to get them as opposed to that already being set up for me. All right, now we're getting toward the end. I know, so thanks for hanging in there. We want to talk about marking attendance. One of the nice things that I really thought was appropriate when I did some of the Realm education, they talk about taking attendance. You're not trying to take attendance to find out who's coming. you're taking attendance to try to find out who is not coming. Is something happening? Is somebody got a situation that they can't make it or not coming? And maybe that will help you to see. And my audio just went away. I think my phone probably is ringing, and hopefully my spouse is going to pick that up. So you click groups. If you want, we want to do attendance though. If you click groups, you click the group you want to take attendance for, in this case Pathfinders, and you click attendance. And what will happen is all the groups, all the meetings that have taken place already will show up, and you can click the one that you want us to mark the attendance for. So in this case, we want to mark the Pathfinders Adult Sunday School class. Now it's back a few months ago, but let's go ahead and do that. So what will happen is that the screen will show up, and everybody that's in that group, that's a participant in the Pathfinders, will show up. And what you do, and by the way, I just redacted some of the information about them. That's what these blue boxes are. You go in and you just put a check mark beside the names of the folks who attended. One of the things you can do is, suppose you have a couple of guests who that day came with some of the folks, and so you can add them to the total. And you had 10 people come, 8 of them were typical members or participants. And after you've done that, you click done, and you've got it. Now, one of the things I want to talk about quickly is that you, as the group leader, can request how you want to be notified about attendance issues. If you remember, under your name, there's this notification settings. If you click notification settings, then all the groups that you are a member of, you'll see how you can go in and check how you want to be notified in that group. But as the leader of the group, you'll notice, like here in Pathfinders down at the bottom, you can edit the group leader notification settings. Okay. And what you can do in the group leader notification settings is you can decide, I don't think I show that, but you can decide, do I want to be notified when a meeting has gone past and we haven't updated the attendance? And maybe more important, you can say, you know what, I want to be notified when somebody hasn't been to a meeting, 3 meetings in a row. Let me know, give me some information about that. Okay. And is there another way to check on attendance? And there actually is a pretty easy way. If you navigate to your group, remember how to do that, and you click the participants, you'll get a roster. And you can't see it here, but behind this screen of that starts, or this pop-up of attendance, are the names of the people in the group. And you see over here on the far right, there is an attendance column, and it has percentage that person has attended, 33% in this particular case. Well, if you click that 33%, you can actually get for that person what meetings did they actually attend. And you can see up close and quick. By the way, their name, I've redacted their name, but you can see the name of the person. So it's pretty easy to find out how people are doing in terms of attending your group. And I would like to request that you try this for a while, see how easy it is, and then see, we think it'll be useful. It's also useful to the staff to be able to see what kind of attendance particular groups are having. Okay, now, I know it's a bit thrown at you. Thanks for hanging in there. If you have a question or a comment or a concern, you can go to Millbrook umc.org/realm. I think we'll have a menu. That is, you'll be able to get to it by going through the menu. You can always search on the word realm. You can get to this page. We'll have educational information. We'll have links to certain things. Probably you may even got to this video through that. But down at the bottom of the page is going to be a form that you can fill out with your name and your email address, and I think your phone number, and then a way for you to tell us what your question or concern is. And somebody from we're volunteers. We might not be able to get back to you that day, but in a day or so, we'll get back with you and and I think we'll be able to help you out. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there, and I hope this has been helpful. And again, look forward to helping you out and seeing how we all do connect using rental. Take care.